Hi, I'm Chad Martin. I'm here today with Dr. Mike Cockrell and William Leishman, and we'd like to welcome you to our very first episode of Mindset Now, where we teach you how to change your mindset today to have the future you want. Now, if you have questions about any of our topics or just want to give us some feedback, then write us at yourmindsetnow@gmail.com. All right, so Mike, give us a few pointers. What can we start doing to change that mindset?
You know, there's a couple of things, and I would suggest starting with one would be to really take a moment of your time and think about what you really want to achieve in your life. You know, think about those things that you're passionate about. What is it that brings joy to your life? What is it that makes you happy? If you got up out of bed today to go to a job, what job would that be? What's that perfect job where you just felt like getting out of bed and rushing to work, and work was nothing more than an extension of what you would do in your life anyway? That's the first part, because until you really, most of us operate from a mindset standpoint not based on the things that we think or we want. We are operating based on input that we were programmed with when we were 3, 4, and 5 years old. Our family, our friends, our peers, our relatives, our in-laws, our outlaws, everybody had some input into, you ought to do this, you ought to do that, here's what you should do, and what happens to most of us is when we're getting that input when we're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, that programming gets stuck and it runs in the background all the time. And so we sort of have fashioned our lives oftentimes not really around the things that we find joy in, but around those things that others sort of thought we should be doing. Mm-hmm. And as long as you're caught in that trap, you're going to realize that things are miserable. I mean, I know so many people who work at jobs that they absolutely hate going to, makes them feel bad, and they only do it because it's what they know, it's what puts money in the bank and food on the table. But what I would encourage everyone to do is to really start thinking about, what if things were different? What if I could change this? Because the truth of the matter is, you have the power to do the changing. You may not happen instantaneously, but that's what we're going to talk about in just a second, because this is a step-by-step process. So the first thing I would do is begin to think about my passion. And that may be something that you really just love doing, something that right now may be a hobby. But those are the kind of things that you want to think about and focus on, because those things that you begin to bring to the forefront of your thought processes, those are the things that are going to drive your decision making. And as long as you just keep suppressing that, you're going to be stuck in a rut. So the first thing is to think about what it is you really want to achieve. The second thing is to begin to make small changes. Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect. Darren is the editor of Success Magazine, and it's probably been 2010, 2011 when that book came out. I don't recall right off the top of my head. But the book is called The Compound Effect. And in that, Darren really talks about how to achieve any goal you want to by breaking it down into small, tangible steps. And I teach that in my clinic as well. And I do a lot of weight loss stuff. And the key to that is, if you're going to go cold turkey, oftentimes you're going to figure out that works great for the first week, 10 days, 2 weeks. You can completely change your diet. And then all of a sudden, that blows up in your face and you're right back to binging and doing everything you were doing before. If you really want to be successful, you need to break those processes down into small steps. Because from a weight loss example, giving up something as simple as a single can of Coke, that's 125 calories roughly a day. If you just cut out 125 calories a day from your diet, over the next 36 months, you'd lose about 30 pounds of weight. So it's little bitty things that you can do that you don't miss that actually will help propel you toward that bigger goal.
And for excuse me, and for our audience out there, these guys listening, and a lot of them may be in that state that I know I used to be in, to where, oh my God, it's the same thing every day. I've got to go to the same job. I got to hang around the same people. I have to look at the same ex-wife. Or whatever it is, you're having to do the same thing every day. What would you say to that person for that first step?
Stop it.
Yeah. Without going cold turkey, what would you say to that person?
I feel like it's hard to go cold turkey though, because you get stuck in a rut that you feel like, okay, well, I know what I need to do. I know the first step I need to take is to really, I guess, concentrate on making this a part of my life. Just really the focusing part is I think the hardest, because you have all these distractions and everything's so overwhelming that for me, whenever I do get a moment to just relax and just stop and everything, I'm too tired from everything to even think about one more thing to try to focus on, which would be bettering myself.
Right.
And it's so hard to
Here's the simple answer to that. What you need to do is you need to commit to giving yourself 15 minutes. And ideally 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. And if you will commit to, and what I would do with that 15 minutes, if I were just starting fresh, wanting to make some changes, what I would do is I would pick up a good book. I'm a big, huge fan of Wayne Dyer, so anything that Wayne has ever written would be a good place to start. Anything related to Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, things to Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, any of those books that sort of give you, even though those are sort of wealth-driven books, that's one thing, but they basically teach some underlying principles that you can apply to all aspects of your life. Find a book that's going to help you, a self-improvement book, and commit to reading for 15 minutes in the morning and right before you go to bed, 15 minutes at night. That would be my suggestion for a place to start. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can do more than that, more is always better. But, that alone will begin to give you a purpose and a pattern. It's going to do two things in particular. One, it's going to help you begin to establish a daily routine. Now, we'll talk more about daily routine later, because in my opinion, creating a positive daily routine is probably the most critical thing you will ever do in your life. But that's a small step to start that daily routine, because what you're going to start doing is you're going to start reading about positive things, mm-hmm. how to manipulate, how to change your thoughts, how to take control, how to begin to make the choice, because the choice is yours. Most of us just don't understand what choices we need to make.
Right, that's a big thing.
Right, and so that's where I would start.
It's there, I can feel it's within reach, but I don't know where to reach.
Right.
Does that make sense?
And another good book, talking about that, is the book The Secret. I know a lot of people maybe heard about that. If you've not read the book, you maybe have seen the movie, but that is another great place, and you really see how these people are changing their lives. And these are people who are coming on there and, they have no really vested interest in The Secret, other than come on there and just be more of a testimony and say, this is what I've done. I've changed how I look at things, how I view things. I've shifted from the negative to the positive, and now better things are happening to me.
Right. Yeah, you will attract into your life sort of what you're putting out there. Back to that radio analogy we used earlier. If you're sending out negative crap, you're going to get negative crap back. If you're sending out positive vibrations, you're going to begin to get positive vibrations, and that's not anything magical. It's just that if you're upbeat and positive, you're much more likely to attract other people who are upbeat and positive, mm-hmm. and you begin to sort of expand those associations just because you change the way you're thinking.
Yeah, and we're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back. And one of the things I want to get into is the effect of social media on our mindsets today, because there's a plethora of things out there that really affect us every day that maybe we're not even thinking about. So when we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Mike a little bit more about that. We'll see you guys in a minute.